2X!
Brother, this guy stinks!
What the fuck is this? James Gunn's Superman has turned out to be the most underwhelming yet overrated iteration of Superman I've ever seen. By the way, if you're new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe. For those who don't know, I actually knew this was going to be the outcome the moment I laid eyes on that hideous suit. I didn't really mind the trunks. But seriously, what is up with that belt? The suit looks cheap and baggy for a guy who literally owns a fortress and has androids working for him. This suit was supposed to make a strong impression, but James Gunn completely missed the mark. It felt like a major downgrade. Don't get me wrong, James Gunn is an outstanding writer and a pretty good director. I mean, he did a decent job with Guardians of the Galaxy and Suicide Squad. But he just didn't do justice to the Superman. Hear me out, I'm a guy who really appreciates art and action cinematography. But let's be frank, James Gunn kinda lacks in that department, especially when it comes to fight scenes involving superpowered beings like Superman. Fans who love Man of Steel and were still excited for the new Superman movie probably ended up feeling underwhelmed by how goofy and unstyled the Superman film really is. This isn't about the story or the actors' performances. I actually think David Corenswet did a good job portraying Superman. He's the perfect, hopeful, down-to-earth Superman fans wanted. The problem? James Gunn just couldn't make that Boy Scout hopeful portrayal cool throughout the movie. Superman got his ass handed to him more than once, and that's where the real issue lies. Action cinematography. Zack Snyder's Superman wasn't perfect. The movie had its flaws, but we all have to admit the action scenes were flawless. They were well-styled, choreographed, and impactful. Gunn's fight scenes? Sure, they were cool in a casual sense, but way too underwhelming for a Superman movie. The shaky cameras, awkward angles, and goofy fight styles made Superman's fights feel less like epic battles and more like slapstick comedy. And seriously, it took Superman forever to stand up from that fall. Who has time for that? It's just not cool. To put it bluntly, James Gunn can't seem to handle fight scenes between beings at Superman's level. Look at the fight between Drax and Adam Warlock in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It felt clunky, unfocused, and didn't capture the raw power you'd expect. That lack of finesse translated into the Superman movie as well. There were a few cool scenes in the Superman movie. The stadium fight was intense, and the moment when Superman flew up and started shooting down Lex Luthor's armor battalion? That was visually impressive. Also, the scene where he flies up in the rubble had some decent impact. But these moments were too few and far between to save the overall fight choreography. And speaking of moments that just didn't land, we need to talk about that scene where Superman stops mid-battle to save a squirrel.
Hey, look, guys! It's the stupid squirrel! I know, let's try and communicate with it!
I get it. He's supposed to be wholesome, caring, and attentive, but come on. That was completely unnecessary. It didn't add anything to the story, didn't raise the stakes, and honestly just made the fight feel even goofier than it already was. There's a difference between showing Superman's compassion and derailing the intensity of an action scene for a joke that doesn't even hit. Gunn keeps trying to make these cute hero moments work, but they end up breaking the momentum instead of building character. The DCEU has always had issues with fight scenes. Every super-enhanced being seemed to be on the same power level, making fights feel inconsequential and, frankly, less engaging. But despite these flaws, the DCEU's fights were still entertaining and choreographed in a way that gave them weight and impact. Another thing worth pointing out is that James Gunn is clearly trying to avoid the massive city-level destruction and civilian casualties that Man of Steel was heavily criticized for. And that's understandable. Nobody wants every Superman movie to look like disaster footage. But at the same time, there still needs to be a sense of consequence to these fights. That was something Batman v Superman actually handled well. When God's level characters clash, the world reacts, people respond, and decisions have weight. Without that sense of consequence, Superman's battles feel a bit too safe, too clean, and nowhere near as impactful as they should be for a character operating at his power level. With the direction James Gunn seems to be headed, I seriously doubt that Superman will get any truly badass moments anytime soon.
I'm as human as anyone. I love, I get scared, I wake up every morning and despite not knowing what to do, I put one foot in front of the other and I try to make the best choices I can.
I even fear this guy will end up being nothing more than a punching bag for Wonder Woman, Shazam, Green Lantern, and every other big hitter in the DC universe.
Green Lantern could fight Superman. Because Green Lantern's powerful.
A few moments later.
Guy's gonna kill us!
So what do you guys think? Is James Gunn Superman really as underwhelming as I say? Or am I being too harsh? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your take. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives like this. Also, check out my video on why Akari's is underrated. Trust me, you don't want to miss that one. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.